You're listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, featuring Larry Carroll, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. What they see is what they'll be. Today's guest, you are familiar with him. He's known in the community. His name is Jovan Jackson, and he is a candidate for Assembly District 6. Jovan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This
Always,
is a great space to be in.
always a pleasure having you on board. Let's talk a little bit about your candidacy. Tell us, first of all, where exactly is District 6?
So District 6 is 89106, 89107, 89030, 89032. So also better known as the West Side, the historic West Side, the old Northtown area around Civic Center. It goes down now. It's been redistricted to where now it goes down to Walnut, near the Walnut Wreck, and then it goes all the way up to Lorenzi Park on Rancho. But if you live in those zip codes, more than likely you're in District 6.
Why should the residents of District 6 vote for you?
I would say because I'm rooted in that community. My family has long history in that community, and I genuinely care about the people in that area. And I know, Vegas is a transit city, and I understand that, but I feel that district is historical, and the nature of that district is historical with, that being the, first Black community. When, Nevada has segregation, when Vegas has segregation, that was a community where Black folks were first allowed to live in. And, North Las Vegas was one of the first integrated cities. My grandmother, she actually lives in Assembly District 6. And the home that she lives in now, she couldn't live in during the 60s. She wasn't allowed to. So I think you in certain areas, I just feel like it's important to have someone that's rooted to that area and like generally care about the history and the people of that area. And then two, I just things that I fight for on a regular basis, criminal justice reform, affordable housing, those things I fight for, and those are something that my district is impacted by, and, along with economics and other things. So just having someone that genuinely cares about the people and going to put people over profits and put people over their own self-interest of, their self or a political party.
Okay, you talked about criminal justice reform. Give me an example of this issue and what you would do to change and make criminal justice reform in this area better.
So, criminal justice reform, one bill that I do want to initiate is a clean slate bill. And the bill would basically allow folks who qualify to allow their records to be automatically sealed or expunged. That's important because right now you have someone that may have committed a felony and been out of prison for over 20 years, but they still have this felony on their record, and it interferes with getting this is 20 years ago. This person never been in trouble, never went back to jail, but they still have a felony on their record. They qualify to get it sealed or expunged, but it's a process. You have to request permission from a judge. More than often, you're gonna have to get an attorney to help you with this process. It becomes a financial, a situation where people may have to spend thousands of dollars. And to be honest, the system is kind of intimidating. One person, going in front of a judge. So I really feel this process needs to be streamlined, and if you qualify for it, it should happen automatically. So currently, right now, the state laws that we have, if you have a certain category of felony, say it's category A, B, C, D, based on the level of offense is the amount of time that you have to wait to before you're eligible to get your record expunged. So, for example, if you got a category A felony, you will have to wait about 10 years to get, start that process. So I'm just saying, I just want to streamline the process to where it happens automatically and it takes the burden off the individual. So that's definitely one thing that I
How
want
would
to
that
do, and that
work?
will create
How
more,
how would how would how would that work? You're saying you're saying you want an automatic expunging. Talk to me about how that might work.
I mean, it's not a might. It will 100% work. Um, so there's no mites in that situation. So there's like there's laws already that exist. So say like for example, I've been to prison. I have a certain category. I believe I'm a category C or category D. I have a
Okay.
category D felony. So I have to wait 5 years for me to get my records sealed or expunged. So technically, this is the year where I could get my record expunged. I was released in 2018 from custody. So, and I haven't gotten into any trouble since my release. I haven't committed any offenses. I haven't been to jail. I haven't been to prison. So now in 2023, I am qualified to get my record sealed and expunged. By law, I qualify to do that. But the current system is that you have to either get a judge, you have to go in front of a judge. Ultimately, you have to go in front of a judge, and they have to be the one to initiate that process of getting sealed or expunged. Even though that you qualify, you meet the time requirement, you still have to go in front of a judge to get it sealed. I'm saying that we don't need that step of getting a judge or attorney. If you meet the time qualifications that's been created by our state legislators, then that should happen automatically.
Okay. And so
With that,
you want that to happen simply by a time qualification.
by time qualification, because once you meet that time qualification, there's always already laws that's been established, and the judge is going to approve it. It's just I don't want I what's the correct word? It's just a process that's been in play for so long, and it's just there's a word for it, but I don't want to use bureaucrats, yeah, but it's just it's not needed.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about housing. What are the housing issues in your district, and how do you propose to solve those issues?
Right, correct. There is housing problems in my district, and there is a lot of percentage of folks that own their homes in my district, and but they still have fear. They still have children and grandchildren, and affordable housing is a worry of theirs. And once again, being someone that's raised here, I have seen the market change, dramatically within just the past 5 years, and that is hard on a lot of families and individuals, and it's hard on the locals here. So with affordable housing, that's definitely one of my biggest concerns. And this may be a lifelong, journey or vision for me, but I definitely want to be a part of the generation that's going to build walkable towns, that we have parts of towns that are not so dedicated to cars, but to people, and that where we could build up, uh, kind of. And I think living in Vegas, we have like the perfect example of walkable cities with the strips and them having hotels and businesses downstairs. But we need to vision that for an actual community to where they're not hotels, but they're living units, and we have businesses downstairs that serve that community. So that's definitely something that I want to initiate. But just even on a smaller scale of things, we have old parking lots, old shopping centers, and we could definitely rezone and redevelop these old shopping centers that are just basically empty and no one's going to, we could start building housing and commercial where there's housing on top and commercial on the bottom. And these will bring back, these shopping centers and actually save, space, and it will promote more affordable living. I know the Meadows Mall is a sort of an example of that. That old Meadows Mall, they just built a luxury apartment next to it.
Yes.
And just something, in that nature. They have something also in Green Valley Ranch area where, it's a Green Valley district and you could go there and have drinks and, have a good time, but there's actually housing within that district. So definitely rezoning, redeveloping different things and being creative. And then also looking at the issue of corporate landlords and, mind that my family have been landlords since the 70s and 80s in this community. But what we're facing in current days, the corporate landlords that are coming in buying over 100 homes at a time. And I believe in the free market system. I believe the free market system is what keeps this country excelling, but we must protect the most essential things. And we cannot turn our homes into a corporate greed thing, because our homes build safety, they build security, they build shelter. They're the only we need a home to become a self-actualized being. So I think we need to definitely regulate that on the market system with our housing, and do something about folks that are coming in buying 100 homes at a time. There's a difference between developing and buying 100 homes. So and then we have a system already that help folks with affordable living, affordable rent, and that's Section 8. But unfortunately we have a Section 8 system that people who qualify, people who are disabled, people who are elderly. These folks have been on the list for about 10 years and still waiting for housing. So if we push to develop more Section 8 housing for these folks to get what they qualify for, that would uh, that would help reduce the rent amount that's going on in the valley, because there would be less demands for
Okay.
rentals.
You talk a little bit about rent, regulating rent. How would you regulate the rent?
I uh, I don't think I said anything about regulating rent.
Okay, you talked about bringing in regulations. How would you regulate those individuals who are buying up hundreds of homes, and how would you stop the rising cost of rent?
Okay, so yeah. Um, so yeah, folks that own a certain amount of homes, whether that's 100 or whether that's a 50, everyone has to pay property taxes.
Yes.
Um, these individuals that own these homes, they will have to pay a significantly amount more of property taxes, and I would hope that would slow down the process of people coming in buying hundreds of homes, because then it'll be no longer profitable for them. And then once you do that, that limits people regulating the market system right now, because literally right now at this very moment we have corporations that own thousands of markets is in demand, and they're going to manipulate the market. So when we have more homes that's available to the people and not to corporations, that's when we will see the reduction of rent coming down, because it's not being manipulated by corporations that are trying to make profit off of the American home system.
Okay, so we talked about criminal justice, we talked about housing. What are some of the other major issues you find troubling your district?
I had a couple listening sessions where I listened to the folks and their concerns, and the top three, was affordable housing, criminal justice reform that also tied with policing, and then water, which was surprisingly to me uh, like, because I don't often think about the water crisis. I know it is our most precious resource, especially in a desert. It's just I often get caught up in, fighting these social issues that, we do have to think about water because that will be a social issue if we don't address it. Those are that was your question. What were the top three issues
Yes.
in the district? So yeah, that's their concern, and also my concern. And I say my personal stand. And I also want to create a system for free mental health care for people that are homicidal and suicidal. And so that is a concern on my plate, and that comes with my background in mental health and my personal experience of having a substance abuse problem. That when people are homicidal and suicidal, that the hospitals can only hold them for a few days, and then they're released back into society being a danger to themselves or others. And these folks could be a gun owner, and there's no system, there's no safety net. And I often say, law enforcement is they are a reactive tool for public safety, and we need more proactive tools to public safety. We're able to prevent these crimes and prevent these tragedies and prevent these shootings, but these people that are homicidal and suicidal, they don't have nowhere to go, no outlet to go, where it doesn't cost them. It's going to cost them financially to get the help that they need, and often, so they ignore the issues, and it becomes a tragedy. So I really feel that this is a public safety issue, and I hope that we could, start treating it as one, and that we could seek those, public safety funds for people to get the help that they need.
How would we pay for this free mental health care?
I will say this: we don't ever question about how folks are being held in cages for traffic citations for months at a time. We don't ever question how we're going to pay that. So this will definitely come. This if there's something that I'm gonna fight for, that this is a public safety issue, and that this needs to go to public safety funding. This needs to be funded by public safety means. And currently, the fire department right now is expanding their public safety funding. They're trying to do that. They're trying to make that a thing. They're trying to make wildlife conservation a public safety issue. So I feel someone homicidal and suicidal could fall under that same category of it being a public safety issue. And then there's also grants that, if you see right now, Cedric Career, he has worked dedicated, very dedicated to that. What is the name of the courtyard? And he has put a brand new building, brand new structure. That's not all state dollars. That's a lot of grant money, a lot of federal grants, a lot of grants that revolve around mental health. So definitely would want to attack that funding. Is there's a lot of grants out there, and and then also I would say, and and a lot of people are not going to like this, but I really feel like this is something that the NRA, they need to get behind and support, and because at the end of the day, you you're the NRA, you're one of the biggest organizations towards guns, and people are become desperate and they become hopeless, and they're gun owners, and bad things happen. So you need to be a part of that solution. So those would be the three ways that I would seek for funding. But I truly believe it's within our means to finance, and that we really need to revision what public safety looks like.
I want to thank you for your time today. And I want to leave you with the last word. What do you want to leave our listening audience with?
I will say, chase your dreams. Um, the realest things in life can be your thoughts and your dreams. And if you could create it in your mind, you could create it into reality. If you want to learn more about me, you could visit me at www.jovanjackson.com. Also, my Instagram, Jovan Jackson Action Campaign.
Jovan Jackson, candidate for Assembly District 6. You've been listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, featuring Larry Carroll and sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. What they see is what they'll be. I'm Mel Tellar, your host, and until next time, keep it 100.